Hey, if you'd like to get comfortable and close your eyes, we'll do our meditation for ourselves and the earth. Let's start with 3 deep breaths. We imagine a beautiful golden white light descending upon us from the heavens. It feels soft, warm, and gentle as we breathe it in. It fills our whole body with its beautiful essence, and we are filled with the love of Source. We know we are connected and we are powerful, creative beings. We see that the light has now joined us together as a group. So there are no individuals, just one heavenly light. We are the group. We are one. We see planet Earth in front of us. She is beautiful, yet strong and resilient. We feel immense love for her. We are aware of a heartbeat, strong and deep within. We feel connected to the beat, and it seems to call to us. It's as though our own hearts have joined with hers, and we are in peaceful harmony with the planet. She is waiting for us. As one, we extend the light out from the group, heart center, and surround the dear planet in the beautiful, loving light. She draws close as the light pulsates strongly from the group consciousness, gently offering healing to her and all beings. We now see the planet and the group vibrating with the light which has been called forth through the group intention, capacity to love, gentleness, and knowing. The light becomes so bright now that it's difficult to discern the planet from the exquisite light. The light grows bigger and bigger until all that can be seen in the mind's eye is light. There is nothing else. We hold this light and feel its peace. We feel the love and the healing that we too are receiving, a feeling from which it's difficult to depart. It is a minuscule taste of the love that has always been. a love that's never left, a love that waits patiently for our return. It is a minuscule taste of the love that has always been, a love that has never left. A love that waits patiently for our return. We feel immense gratitude now. The love we give is being returned in ways we cannot imagine, in amounts we can never understand. We cannot know who will accept what is offered today, but it can never be lost. It stands forever more as a beacon for all those who seek solace. It will shine as a beacon until all are home. We continue to watch a little while, knowing this cannot fail, for we are powerful creators. We are one with Source. We are the light. And so the healing is complete. Gently let yourself return to the room. Welcome back to the ongoing requirements for awakening workshop. Does anyone want to briefly share from the planet healing meditation?
I got very, very hot, like really hot through my hands. Like really hot.
That's a good song.
Doesn't normally happen like that.
I had something a little unusual happen. I was about to go on to the next paragraph, so I opened my eyes, and without any intention, I started reading halfway through from the previous paragraph. It is a miracle's taste of love. I just felt I'll just say the last three lines. No idea why I did that. Anyone else?
I think Judith ascended.
I was about to say I think Judas has ascended. There she is. She looks good on it too. Great. Anyone else want to share before we move on to the Peace Pilgrim next? Okay. I'll share the screen and bring up Peace. Okay. I presume you can all see the screen. So this is the wonderful Peace Pilgrim. I discovered her many, 20, 30 years ago. She was the woman who, in her 40s, discovered inner peace, 37 actually. She had been devoting quite a bit of her life to serving others. But after a period of extended meditation, she just broke through to an inner peace that never left her. And wasn't that long after, she was the first woman to walk the Appalachian Trail in one go, in one season, instead of breaking it up into parts. And it was on the trail that she got the idea to be a peace pilgrim. And it wasn't that much longer that she gave everything away. She just had one suit of clothes that you can see, though in the first year, she carried a pullover. But in the second year, she decided she didn't need it. And she just, in her pocket, she had some leaflets on peace and a toothbrush, and that was it. She fasted until she was offered food, no eating. And she never asked for anything. If they offered accommodation, she'd sleep. Otherwise, she'd sleep rough. Bus stops, under trees, all weathers. In the colder weathers, she moved more south across America. In warmer weather, more north, including Canada at times. And when she reached 25,000 miles, she wrote that on the back of her tunic, and then she stopped counting. But we were able to work out until she died, she walked 43,000 miles. And she didn't approach people. They approached her. They were curious. In that time, she never even caught a cold. Remember, she's walking winter and summer, and at times sleeping rough. Sometimes people accompany her and they realize she never got bitten by a mosquito either. In those walking years that she was asked about what's her meditation, she laughed. She said, "My meditation is walking through the trees." She said, "This is the way of peace. Overcome evil with good, falsehood with truth, and hatred with love." But what's interesting for us, she actually charted her life, her progress, literally on a chart. And we'll bring that up next. Or we'll try and bring that up next. There we go.
For how many years did she walk?
She walked for 28 years.
Wow.
And the only reason she stopped was that she never accepted lifts unless she was going to be on the TV interviewed and she had to go in town, And it was on one of those, there was a car crash and she died instantly. And I saw the video of her talk the night before, and you knew she was going, the way she was speaking. She knew it. What a brilliant way to go. One here, 1 second, gone the next, no pain. Bit difficult for those, of course, left behind, but that's peace. So here she graphed, movements and changes and explained it. She said no one can find inner peace except by working, not in a self-centered way, but for the whole human family. So here we are, age 25 to nearly 30. This is zigzag. And she says down here, her ups and downs of emotion with the self-centered nature, which I think we're all quite aware of. And then number two, she got what she called the first hump of no return. It was a complete willingness without reservation to give her life to serve in the higher will, living to give instead of to get. And she was about 30. She hadn't had the complete breakthrough for peace, but She got this insight now away from a self-focus, but of course it's zigzagging. So she's achieving higher peaks of peace compared to there, but she's falling back as well. There's zigzag on the path. She says at 3, battle between God-centered nature and the self-centered nature. Here it is. Here it was just emotions up and down. Here it's God, self, ego, God, self, ego. Got it, lost it, as Adyashanti would say. Got it, lost it. And then a peak experience. Presumably this was at the end of an extended meditation period. A glimpse of inner peace. And this was at the age of 37. So now she's at higher levels, falling back a bit, going up a bit. So this really shows how his got it, you lost it happens on the path. But it's like a graph, again, higher highs and lower lows, as they say in the finance industry. At 5, the peace plateaus are getting longer and longer. And then 6, she attains inner peace that doesn't go away. She's 45 now. And it was here that she was given the vision, I think, on the Appalachian Trail, of that she will become a peace pilgrim. And then this straight line with no zigzags. Of this, she says, there's always a growing edge, but the progress is harmonious. Like there's no end to this awakening till perhaps the final absorption back into God, but that's, I believe, a few billion years off. There is a feeling of always being surrounded by all of the good things like love and peace and joy. It seems like a protective surrounding, and there is an unshakableness within, which takes you through the situations you need to face. So it was in this state onwards that she started walking the world, always with an inner peace, no sickness, putting up with heat, putting up with cold. But after a year, she threw a pullover away. The only thing she had to replace was really her shoes. They wore out at about 1,500 miles. And presumably a tunic at times, but they should be given. She never accepted money. When she was taken to be interviewed on TV shows, we get a fee. She would not accept the fee. She just carries some leaflets, a comb, and a toothbrush. Her clothes would get dirty. So she'd find a stream or a lake, take them off, wash them, wring them out, put them back on again, and start walking. As she said, Peace Pilgrim walked 43,000 miles across America and Canada, fasting until she was offered food and sleeping rough until given shelter, spreading the message of world and inner peace when asked. And she said, I'll always walk until the world learns peace. Hey. She nearly died once before when she was walking and this large snowstorm came down and she was in the country and the snow just built up and she was sort of walking through it, sort of chest high, and hypothermia was starting to set in. And at one point she came out of her body. She was sort of dying. And all these beings from the other side of the veil started to come towards her. And Peace said, well, I can serve there as well as I can serve here. But a being came up and said, it's not your time, Peace. We want you to go back and we want you to go down the hill to the road where you'll find something. And she popped back into her body, back into the snowstorm, struggled down to the road, and there was a little bridge there. And there was a large cardboard box that had fallen off a lorry. And she just climbed into the box and closed all the flaps and weathered the storm and then carried on walking. Peace Pilgrim. There's an example for you. But notice she didn't start that walk until she found peace. I don't see how otherwise she would have survived. Any questions about peace and her spiritual journey? Everyone gobsmacked? Anyone want to be a peace pilgrim? I'm practicing. I walk every day to the cafe and come back, and sometimes I talk to people about peace. It's a start, it's a beginning. Okay, that's it for peace, is it? Okay,
Simple, just follow the inspiration you get, you have.
that's right. I'm going to cafes. She's walking the world. We start where we are and move.
Yeah. Just do as you're told, overcome the struggles.
That's it. And she was given that vision on the Appalachian Trail, as I mentioned, and she thought, that's it. She got that guidance and she followed it. And I've seen, interviews of her, a number of interviews. And, she's very dynamic, very happy, strong woman. And there's a group of Quakers who distribute her work. They're in California. I was near there one day, so I drove to meet them. And they have her book, Peace Pilgrim, which they give away for free. I think I don't know if you have to pay the postage, but it's all part of peace. I won't accept money, and I'll give everything for free. And it's a great book. It shows some of the challenges where she's in difficult, possibly violent situations and comes through them very gracefully.
But her book, but she didn't write it herself, or what?
It was collections of interviews. Um, Maybe there were some essays that she did. Um, I can't really remember, about 30 years ago. I got it downstairs. It's just a collection. And it describes her life, the challenges. So some of them I think she must have written like her challenges or dictated it to someone. Okay, so we move on. No more questions. What I've got here is a rather large, I think, interesting chart. Let's see if we can bring that up. We always have a little sticky problem at times when you're moving these slides on. Oh, one more word from Peace Pilgrim. Okay, I've lost all the people. Can you see this and hear me? Oh, we have a fault here.
Yes.
Oh, a yes. Are you the only one that can hear me? No, it must be. Can you see the
No.
picture, Judith?
Yeah, can see the picture too.
Can you see other people on the screen?
No, but I'm on my phone, so
That's all
I
good.
couldn't see them before.
Everyone's there.
Okay, they just all disappeared from my screen, so I think you're there. Great. So here's another sort of chart based purely on Course in Miracles and using their words about the journey of awakening and the stages and the challenges. So just interrupt me when you want to ask a question. We'll start right down at the bottom of the charts in the world we know so well, the ego's world of separation. And along here, you've got descriptions. So up here, we have dream states. This is nightmares for most of us, the ego's world of separation. Our perception is false. We've got a choice of the Holy Spirit of the ego to listen to, and we listen to the ego. And the Course calls that the wrong mind. So a lot of the world is still here, and a lot of us are still here quite a bit of the time. Reality is illusion here. And time, well, we believe in time and space here. We need time and space to actually have a universe, to have the world of separation. So when we're fully in the ego, we exist in a state of sin, guilt, and fear. Our belief is that denial and projection will save us. We deny the guilt in us. We deny our lack of self-worth. And when it's triggered by people outside of us or events, we project it out. And it's not me, it's you. That's the ego's mechanism. It's very simple. Deny, project. Special relationships, of which there are two: special hate, people we choose to hate; special love, people we choose to love, reinforce our guilt. So the special love relationship, which we all can learn from, everyone's come back, which we can all learn from, is still a guilt producer. It's a substitute for God, but it's where we learn, and we can choose to change that special love into a holy relationship of forgiveness and honesty. But until we do that, special hate and special love will lead to more guilt. Of course, there's the special love relationship is the ego's chief weapon against God. And of course, in our society, it's all romanticized and blown up, and it's the thing we must want above all else. But a needy, dependent relationship doesn't give us that. We live in the past and the future most of the time, spending some short moments in the present. And the future becomes the past, just perpetuated. Only witnesses to a fearful world are perceived. That's why we have wrong perception. Ingrid left. She wants to come back in. And Ingrid back in. I'll pause a moment. Hi, Ingrid. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. It wasn't something I said about special love relationships that made you leave, was it?
Could have been. No, I didn't hear it.
Well, you can always do a
Good
special
now.
hope job on me. You know, that's the way you compensate for it. Okay. We have the ego has a great attraction to anger, attack, pain, sickness, and death. Really makes the ego real. I'm something. Don't tell me I'm an illusion. Look, I'm sick. I must be real. Look, I'm dying. I must be real. There's attack out there. You've got to be attacking something real. And of course, there's no. You're still the Christ. You're still an eternal, formless being. We have to come right up here before we get that. And deep down, we fear God's vengeance because, well, we broke up heaven and left, didn't we? We thought something's better than heaven. Separation's a good idea. And God's really angry. The Old Testament always has God chasing us, demanding sacrifice, sending plagues and locusts. He has a lot of bad days, does our God. But as someone once said, God created us in his image and we return the compliment. So our God is an ego God. As we start to wake up from this and think, well, this is not really satisfactory, there must be a better way. This is the way, of course, the Course in Miracles began, with Helen saying that. Sorry, Bill saying that to Heaven. We start to explore forgiveness. And the miracle is to shift the perception from looking at the world through the ego's eyes, instead through the Holy Spirit's eyes. We start shifting our special love into holy relationships. We're making them more honest. We're forgiving more. We're moving into happy dreams, away from the nightmares. Our perception is becoming now more true. And we're listening more to the Holy Spirit, which is in the right mind. Prayers start coming on. They begin with, like, prayers to kill your enemies, but they work up the ladder. Prayer for peace. We're starting to do that vigilance. We're watching ourselves more. The observer's coming in. And we're treading the middle path between the extremes of indulging 100% in pleasure or becoming an ascetic. And the Buddha saw that as well, of course. Guidance begins to come. And the dawning realization, I need do nothing. I'm actually perfect already. Why am I struggling so much? Why don't I get quiet and let it in? Still an illusion, still in time and space. Well, if you keep that up long enough, you drop into what the Course calls the real world. This is the completion of our individual path. We will no longer really need to come back into a body. Interesting, on the live stream last Sunday, someone said, what does it mean by God's last step? And it says, when you're at the point where you no longer come in as a physical body. But that decision is made by spirit, not you. Even though you want to leave the body behind, that's often an ego reaction. I'm fed up with this place, I want something better. Ascend me now, please. It's more like you love everything in the world, you forgive everything in the world, you're at peace with everything in the world, you're a peace pilgrim. This is the end of the atonement path, the correction of errors, the waking up from the dream, and the memory of God returns. They use expressions like entering the borderland, leaving this world behind, ready to go into the next. Spiritual vision is attained. Seeing the face of Christ, which means total forgiveness in everything you see. You see a serial killer, you see COVID crimes, but there's only compassion. The ego is gone. There's only the right mind left now. And the Holy Spirit extends through your mind. We see only the witnesses to love in the world, or calling for love. Nothing can disturb our peace and joy. We live now in the awareness of heaven. My own teacher, Kenneth Wapnick, called this the home away from home. We can still be walking the planet, but we know it's not our home. We have it inside us now. The kingdom of heaven is within. The Course says eventually, when every living separated being comes to this awareness, this is the second coming. And the last judgment is, there's nothing here that satisfies, there's nothing here of worth. And then that's the end of time, space, illusion, and reabsorb back into heaven. Reality, eternity. Please don't ask me to explain this, but there's no dreams left. You're awake. There's no perception left. There's no body to see anything, just absolute knowledge. You're now co-creating with God. We're back in the one mind. We haven't got a right mind or a wrong mind or a Holy Spirit, the one mind. And we can't really understand any of this. But that's waiting. A long way off, but it's waiting. But once you enter the real world, you're at peace. You're happy to wait 1,000,000 years. And when you look at the ETs, they talk about the 12th dimension. And all they want to do is help us. That's their happiness.
Michael,
Yeah.
did you say now that, to cross the line from illusion to reality to
That's
heaven? Yes. Are you saying that this will first be when we all can do it together? Or, I was thinking, I'm thinking more I'm the separated being. It's one time it's you, and the next year it's me, and then it's Jill.
Oh, actually, going into heaven. Yes, it's interesting. And I actually put this question to Jesus through Tina Spalding once, and he didn't really focus on some of my deep metaphysical questions. He didn't seem to go directly into them. He sort of goes around the side of them. Because I was saying something like, is it once we cross over, is it like an individual thing that moves in, or is it all at once for everyone when they reach that point? And the last line of the answer to my question was, it was a little rushed, he says, and yes, it's all at once. So when you think of those 12th dimensional beings, that are channeled, like with Daniel Scranton, they woke up. into the real world millions of years ago. Millions. But they're not here yet. They're, on the borderland. And
Are they still the illusion?
they haven't got bodies. They are groups, still of individuals, but grouping, like Ananda is 2,000 beings, Ananda said, speaking as one voice. Um, and there's no more sort of dimension to go to. The next one is reabsorption into God. And of course, it benefits them to educate us because that'll move us up to the 12th dimension as well, give or take a billion years. And at some point, I'll give you my own teacher's metaphor for this. He called it the popcorn party. This is Kenneth Wapnick. So he said, imagine a colossal cinema, the whole universe, the universes, if you like. And everyone's in the seat watching the screen, and they're all glued to it, and they're laughing and crying, and Jesus is in there. And he turns around and he sees this light coming from the back of the room from a projector. And he works out this is all one frigging illusion. And he turns to the person on the right and said, mate, this is a dream. This is not all happening. And they say, shut up, Jesus. I just missed what happened there. I think someone died. Well, actually, people aren't born. They don't die. Will you shut? And in there, they crucify him. They're really pissed off with him. And he wanders out of the cinema and he walks up to where they serve the tea, the cakes, and the popcorn. And he grabs a packet of popcorn and he just sort of leans in, looking, and everyone fixated on the screen and being a kind sort of chap, from time to time, he wanders back in and starts chatting and waking people up. And other people are waking up and giving a very hard time, most of them. Some keep quiet. And they wander out and they go back up and they grab popcorn. And over a rather long period of time, billions of years, more and more people leave the cinema until in the end, they're all out there in the foyer. This is the second coming. They all left, and there's just this film running in an empty cinema. And they all lean forward and make the last judgment. This is a dream. I don't need this dream. I'm returning. At that point, the projector gets switched off, the cinema disappears, and the universe disappears. And we're back where we were before the idea of the separation came. So we can look forward to popcorn, at least. Anything else you want to know about God and never dare ask? Just ask me, I can tell you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a documentary. I will add it to the page later when we finished here. Um, the telepathy tapes documentary. It's about kids that doesn't have mouth. They don't have communication with the mouth. They
Autistic.
are deeply autistic, most of them. And then they figure out that they are telepathic and they are communicating telepathically with their parents and they are communicating telepathically with other autistic children and they don't have the sense of the body like we do.
Right.
The body is for them more like a hassle in a way. They have all these uncontrolled movements and stuff. And it's really interesting. And I was just thinking, like, I don't know the word in English, but in the Bible it says that the last shall become the first, or
Mm.
you fill me in, Bjørnar, if you know what I mean. De siste skal bli de første. It's like
The last
they're
supper.
just, yeah, they're just kind of there already in another dimension, waiting for us to catch up in a way.
Yeah. And I actually posted that information on all the mighty networks a few weeks ago as well. But
Yeah,
repost it, Ingrid, on here by all means. Yes,
yeah,
it's quite amazing.
it's really amazing. And then this came to my mind when you were doing this whole chart, being in the illusion, being in, yeah, because I just see now so many, we are in the shift, and then I see so many signs that we are in the shift, and then people, and it was so timely with this documentary that I will send to all of you. And I felt that in a way, the real world, the separation, the illusion, and yeah, I think it will be an added benefit. So I will post it in the Mighty Networks.
Good, good.
Thank you. I think, yeah, I was just speaking to a friend today who's just got a job in a school, and she's working with a non-verbal autistic girl who's just starting school, and she's quite psychic herself. So yeah, it'd be really good to be able to pass that on to her too.
Good. Yes, it's quite a surprise. We think they're perhaps backwards, simple, and yet they're advanced souls in many ways. Yeah. And what did I remember reading once? It may have been through Tina that you sometimes look down at people who are perhaps mentally handicapped or physically or both. But he said, yeah, what's Jesus? Some of them are advanced souls. They've said they need to be back on Earth. Perhaps the last time. Ingrid's dropping in and out here. I'll just pause. Welcome back, Ingrid. I was just sharing something I heard from, I think, Jesus a long time ago when he said, you look down sometimes on physically and mentally handicapped people, but some of them are advanced souls that have decided to come back for a short time. But the last thing they want is to go to school. They don't want to go through puberty, boyfriends and girlfriends. The last thing they want is a frigging job. They don't want to get married and get a mortgage. They just want to be here and gain some more experience on Earth. So they decide to be perhaps physically and mentally handicapped, which means they're going to be looked after in a civilized society. And they just observe and watch, and maybe they're telepathic, I don't know. And then when they've had enough, they might be 15 or 20, they just die. And right, that's the end of that. People say, oh, how terrible, how sad, look what they went through. And they only lasted 20 years. And, what does the Course says? You can't judge. You can judge nothing. You have no idea what's going on behind the scenes.
I really like the overview that you are showing there. I can recognize a lot of it, and I think I'm coming up there and doing of the world a little bit up and down there and doing my best there.
Aren't we all doing our best? Yeah. And it's what Jesus says, what you thought sometimes your biggest step forward was your biggest step back, or what you thought was your biggest step back was your biggest step forward. It just, you got into such stuff, it was painful, but you had the chance to learn and you learned, and then it was a massive step forward. But it looks like a real mess to people on the outside. And that person got to be spiritual. A spiritual person is peaceful all the time. Well, that is at the end of the game, but some people fake that on the spiritual path. Living in Findhorn for 20 years, there was a lot of so-called spiritual people going around with smiles that weren't genuine. Because, well, we're spiritual now, aren't we? We're in Findhorn and we've evolved. And oh my God, I was waiting for someone to get angry. At least that's honest.
And also the book of Gary Renard is coming to mind, the disappearance of the universe.
Yes.
And they're coming up there.
That book, yeah, which has been praised by, Ananda and others, that really dives deep into the metaphysics of the Course. At the end of all this is the disappearance of the whole frigging universe. we're back to how it was. In fact, it never changed really. It's all a dream in heaven, so there's not really a universe, but looks like it.
And then maybe it starts all over again, huh?
Don't say that. Well, that also implies, that it was real to begin with. Now it's going to restart. Um, but if you see that thought coming into the Christ mind, squash it immediately.
I will not. I will not think it. I will not wish it.
Don't worry, you won't be there. All individuality is gone. I'm guessing. Still ready to move on to Jill's channeling exercise. Pen and paper, if you feel like to write down anything you get as we go along, and then we'll move into the breakout rooms.
I need to excuse myself to the bathroom real quick.
Yes, bathroom break. Time for more questions and sharings.
Gotta sit up for this, I guess, so I can write.
I did. We'll just wait for Devon, and then we'll start. It's a fairly short exercise, so we've got plenty of time. And we've started the AI recording, so there'll be an AI summary of all that we said today. Is it of use or value to you, the AI that I sent on?
I personally haven't had a look.
Okay. Thumbs up from Ingrid.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it's a good reminder, I think.
And where does that go?
Just to you. Just to our Mighty Network.
Where do we find it in Mighty
The
Network?
email I send you, it comes as an email. They email it to me and I email it.
When I open an email, it goes see article. It just takes me into, I have to log in. It doesn't take me anywhere in particular.
Which email is this, Judith?
When you say there's something you've sent and it says see article, I click on see article and it just takes me to log in.
Log
It
into
doesn't take me anywhere specific.
Well, what I send doesn't have that. It's just text. There's no go-to article or anything in it. I'm not sure. I don't know if you can send me a copy of one of these things that says go to article, because normally I don't send articles. I just send, the videos and these AI transcripts. But if you want to forward one of those to me, I'll have a look at it.
All right. Yeah, because I do that and then I don't find it and so I don't look at them. Yeah.
Well, this one's just a text email. No problem. No article. Okay. If you like to close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths to just change the mood. This exercise is called Why Do You Resist? This is a channeling from Jesus through Jill. At times I will pause And if you wish, you can write down answers to questions that will be asked of you. If you are still as God created you, and you are a most powerful creator, capable of miraculous feats, or as you say, capable of moving mountains, if you are made of love, by love, and for love, loved beyond what you can possibly imagine, if you are safe and can never be harmed, if every day you are guided and encouraged to take the best steps for your awakening by loving beings who are always with you, if you're never alone in your joy, your trials, and times when you perceive suffering, if in your state of despair you're held in the arms of love so powerful, no words can describe it, if there's nothing you can do to be more perfect than you already are, then how is it you still feel lost, undeserving, frightened, unworthy, alone, and perceive not to know who you are? Write any answers that come down, if you wish. The question again said, how is it you still feel lost, undeserving, frightened, unworthy, alone, and perceive not to know who you are? Second question, what would have to be done, shown to you, released, or made manifest in order for you to see the truth of who you really are? Not just in passing, like you may glimpse in a dream from which you awaken and think, how nice, how lovely, but permanently.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that last question, Michael?
Thirdly, what would have to be done, shown to you, released, or made manifest in order for you to see the truth of who you are? Not just in passing, like you may glimpse in a dream from which you awaken and think, how nice, how lovely, permanently. Next question. To know in your heart, in the very essence of who you are, that, yes, this is me. I am all this and more. I merely forgot, and now, at last, I have remembered. That would be a joyous occasion, would it not? We ask that you contemplate what we have said, dear friends. It is particularly important at this time. Question. What is it you need from yourself to see the truth? What is it you need from yourself to see the truth? The final question. What have you been withholding? Or what do you need to release? What have you been withholding? Or what do you need to release? Think it over, my dear friends. We leave you enveloped in love and peace, and wait lovingly for your replies. Blessings to you all. I put your channeling on the chat in case you want to refer to it in the breakout rooms or if you want to copy it. What I'll do now is split us up into the rooms. Usual practice. A talks for 5 minutes, B listens and swap over. The signal at 10 minutes, you've got 2 more minutes, and then you'll be brought back. Welcome back. Anyone wants to complete their sentence, which was clipped off halfway through?
Yeah, I just said to Michael that that also I am I can feel easily blissed out in a way, and still I feel that grounding is a theme for me. because we are still here. We ask to be here also in this three-dimensional or this illusion, this matrix. And there are certain things I guess we will have to I don't know. I don't want to use the word endure. I want to use the word manage. Yes.
Thank you.
So I'm working on that.
Anyone else want to share things that jumped out in that exercise for?
I think the most surprising thing for me was when we first started it and you were asking the question, I could just feel myself heating up, and I felt really quite embarrassed and ashamed that I hadn't been able to know myself more clearly and fully, when he was saying, what would it take? It's like, ooh. Yeah, I really felt that self-judgment in a way I hadn't before.
Okay. I'll just point out that I've got the channeling on the chat. I will be posting this on Mighty Networks. Jill said I can post it, so you'll see it come up in a day.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised with all the guilt that came up as an answer to the question. I saw how much guilt I carry around on various topics. So that was instead of just add to the other comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More to forgive.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that, and who knows what it brings up in people. I mean, you can't say, we have no idea what it will bring up in many different people, but I do know that it was never meant to bring up guilt. And it definitely was definitely not behind the intention. I definitely can feel that myself. And I didn't feel guilt. So we were just talking to Bjorna about it, that I just felt incredibly sad that yes, if all of these things, how come?
How come? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not, I'm not like desperate about it, but it's just like it just brings up like, yeah, for goodness sake. That's just, it's so silly and just, but here we are doing it still.
There we are. And on the word guilt, of course, I mean, for the teachings of the Course, this is the one thing that's keeping us from it. So, it has its place in recognition as well.
I was lucky to be together with Jill here. She's the messenger and the source, and it was interesting to talk to her. And difficult to answer all the questions. And the last thing, what I'm withholding, and this is trust is what I'm getting.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm holding back, what I need to release is the doubt. Doubt in myself on a very, very deep level, and of my guiding, and my role in all of this. That is my big lesson, I think. And one thing, it's a very good one. I like it. And I spoke to. It's clear you are posting it on Mighty Networks. Can I say, Jill, that what we talked about, that she is actually very positive to think to record it with her voice, put that together with the script, to get the whole message in the voice message also.
Who to record it, Jill? Did you say?
Yeah.
That's what you said. Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
You're going to make a recording, Jill?
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
The clearest way I found, because I was experimenting because I'm on Insight Timer, and on the subscription channel, they want top class audio. They pick you up if you breathe or something. And what I found was to do this, Zoom to myself. So I switch on my Zoom, and it's just me. And the technology of Zoom is good for recording sound from the computer microphone. Because I was trying individual microphones, but the computer microphone with Zoom technology, it cuts out background noise and all sorts of things. So I just do a Zoom and then I quit and it downloads the video and you take the audio out of it. So that's the way I did it.
So how do you get that over to the Mighty networks then?
Well, the audio,
Mm.
you just open up an article and drop the audio into the article. If it's not more than 25 megabytes, it'll go in.
Okay, I'm here to go. Otherwise, I'll have to hand it over to you. But I don't want AI talking this nonsense. We're not having that.
Even if it's
I
something,
don't like it.
I support you there.
Better to have my accent, which is dreadful, than have AI do it.
Well, I
Your
will.
accent is not dreadful at all, Jill. It's very good and easy to understand.
You're so kind.
So you're gonna read it in one go, aren't you?
Yes. Oh, well,
Good.
that was what I was actually saying. I mean, what you did was great because it brought out the questions and it gave people time to think about it. But I was saying to Bjorna that when it's read all in one go,
Yep.
it has a lot of it had a lot of impact on, for
Sure.
me, and it's quite it's rather than having the stops. I mean, the stops had a purpose, and I understand exactly why you did it, and I think it was good because I was able to, really think about it. But I just think it has more impact read out all in one
Great,
go.
Bill. We'll have both. We'll have mine.
Yeah, have both.
We'll have
yeah.
yours, and we can post your one. If you want, I can grab your one and post it on the other Mighty Networks along with my one. Mine will be the exercise, you'll be the straight reading.
Yeah.
And we'll
Well,
put
I'll
it on
have a go,
YouTube as
and if I
well.
have trouble, I'll have to contact you and see
Sure,
what
we'll
we can
sort it out.
do.
And we'll stick it on
Yeah.
YouTube. I mean, he did say spread it around somewhere, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he did say something like that.
He did. Maybe not on this. Oh, hang on. It's probably on the back.
But when
Yes,
you're
go.
making a,
We are
I'm
happy
sorry,
to be with you. And yes, we would like you to take this down and share with whoever you choose. Bjorn.
I was going to say when you're making adding something to the feed in Mighty Networks, and you click, you want to write something, and it's coming up some choices below. Isn't there an audio choice there that you can just press the audio and, or is it a video maybe? It's
There's a
something there.
video link that's very clever, where if you press that, you just put the URL of the YouTube video in.
Oh,
Not
you can't
not the
record
video.
directly.
No. So
Okay.
it brings up. So
Yeah.
because there's a limit of 25 megabytes, and videos are often much less. And this way, you can see the video screen and click on it, and then you'll go to the YouTube. Otherwise, you drop an audio in, just drop it into the article, and it's there. And normally that's under 25 megabytes. So yeah, that'd be easy for my version and your version, Jill. We just drop them in.
So
And it
that's just, you don't have to have the camera on, it's just purely the audio.
is pure, unless you want a video.
No.
Well, what will happen is that it'll download once you switch off your Zoom session. It downloads the folder to your desktop. It'll have the audio and the video in there. You just take the audio out.
Okay, well, you make it sound simple, but I expect it's not. I
I'm here
expect,
with
I
tech support for you. I spent a lot of time with my wife being tech support. She said, "You can't leave me. I need the tech support." So it's a matter of life. It's wonderful.
Or if you
Okay.
want, Jill, you could do a Zoom with me, and I'll send you a Zoom link, record it, and then I can upload it.
Oh, that
If
sounds
that's easier.
much better idea.
You sound just like my wife, you.
You know,
Panic and then
Jill,
relief. Oh, I did this and it did that, and that blue thing went like this. And I said, Can you be a little more precise? And the blue thing at the top right, which I pressed. Hope my wife never listens to this, but there you go. Before we finish, anyone want to share?
Yeah, but isn't this exactly like what I was talking about, Jill? That to manage the matrix in a way. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you have the bliss, you have the insights, you have this, and then we have to manage the body computer world in a way, you know what I mean? The
Yeah.
money, all these practicalities. Now you're doing it.
Yeah,
So that's cool.
that's what we were saying to Bjorna, is that, if this, on the thing, if this, and if it's like this, and if it's like that, and if it's like that, why can't you do it? And it's like, well, because I have to live here with this stupid phone issues, and the something happens in your body, and I've got money concerns, and even though you're not supposed to take any notice of them, you still have to pay the mortgage and take the dog to the vet and things like that. And
Yeah.
so that's part of the reason, because you've just bombarded all the time by stupid 3D stuff.
Yeah, but
We've
that's
got to
Stupid
love, Uncle.
3D.
maybe you should have or I don't know. I hate the word should. I'm working on acceptance because I think some of the 3D stuff is so boring that it's like, oh my God, it's like painfully boring. And I dread it so much. And then I guess now I'm stuck here and I cannot escape with doing the boring stuff that I've been putting off for a long time. In week 2, I will start the boring stuff. So,
Why don't you do the interesting stuff?
well, I've been doing the interesting stuff for many years now, and it's nice now to earn more money and to. I guess that if I want to, I think we are supposed to be, uh, you know, it's like Tina. What Tina is doing also, I think she's a good example, or what Michael is doing now, a good example of. You're being spiritual, you're doing it, but then you also have to manage the matrix, sort of. You cannot forget the matrix. We need the grounding, the earthing, since we are here, and we ask to have this. We also ask to have this experience and managing this part.
Yeah. And
I
was
would love some
told
comments. Maybe I'm mistaken. So I would love some feedback, because I just feel that sometimes to bliss out can be like you can be like an escape too.
sure. My teacher used to call those students bliss ninnies. Everything's well. You find them at a funeral going round to the people who are grieving, saying, "There is no death. There's no death, etc., etc." But something you said a bit earlier, then it reminded me of guidance I got 10 years ago from a friend. It's always very strong. This guy is called the MG, and he said something like, "Until you learn to love everything on this planet, you will never transcend it."
Yeah.
Just think what that means. The worst
Okay.
atrocities, the COVID, the wars, the serial killers, our governments.
Taxes.
And it says, and until you do, you will come back
Mm.
until you love everything on this planet. On that note, it's time for my dinner and to say goodbye to you lovely people. Well, what tonight, didn't we? Or this morning. That was great. I'll just end on a note. I was looking at the people who are joining our mighty network about once a month now for the last 6, 7 months. Someone comes up, join the mighty network, and I invite them and say, welcome, and this is where you'll find the information, and please tell me where you come from. No one replies. No one shows up. They're here maybe 3 or 4 weeks. They're obviously not interested in sort of community or workshop. I think somehow we're emitting an energy here that just keeps this 6 or 7 together, and no one's getting in. The field is so strong.
I don't mind it, I have to say.
I know.
I think it's kind of nice to be part of this group, exclusive group.
You contrast it to, say, Tina's live stream, there's like 500, and raise a hand, and there's this full on that we've got here. Anyway, I think we need to end on that because I eat my dinner and things like that. I can't get to sleep
Yeah.
on.
Thank you. Very good session today. I also have to go. Thank you very much. See you in 1 month.
Lots of love,
Okay.
everyone.
Lovely
Bye.
being with you all.
Bye.
It's really great.